All righty then.
Hmm.
So, are you ready for it?
Yes, ma'am, I'm ready.
Who has it this morning? There we go.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I am so excited. Thank you.
All right. So, Miss Carter might know a little bit more about this than me. I've tried to stay out of the news these days, but I always got to do research
Well,
for
do
the
your
show, of
research. There
course.
you
You know
go.
what I mean?
Hmm.
But over the past few weeks, everyone's been talking about how the some Tennessee representatives have been expelled for protesting against gun violence.
Hmm.
It was two African American males and then a Caucasian female as well. They
Right.
were all Democratic,
Hmm.
and they joined in a protest and were all expelled from
Well,
the.
she wasn't.
Oh, she
A
wasn't.
Caucasian wasn't.
Oh, I thought
The
she
No,
two,
was.
the
no,
two
she wasn't.
African
Yeah.
Americans were.
Oh,
Hmm.
wow.
So they all did the same, but they expelled the two African Americans.
Hmm.
They both have gotten their seat back. And I want to go back in, of course, the disclaimer is there, and this is my opinion. And this is,
Well, she finished with her little
oh, I don't
portion
know.
before you
Were
got.
you done?
No, yeah,
No, this is what
that's
I'm
up
Okay.
for
supposed to
discussion.
do.
Yeah.
This is
Oh,
what I'm
okay.
supposed to do. So, Brother Carter, I
Mm.
told you we're not going to put you in timeout already.
Hmm.
So what had happened was the they kept trying to speak, and every time
Hmm.
they would speak, they were being gavelled or being
Hmm.
ignored. And so they were really trying to speak on the gun violence, and
Hmm.
the chairperson didn't want to acknowledge them or even allow them to speak.
Right.
And so it wasn't until, because it had been going on for a while,
Hmm.
and then at that point, they told him that if he didn't stop talking out of turn, they were going to put him out.
Hmm.
So they then got the bullhorn. And the narrative that everyone wanted to make
They tried to
initially,
silence those guys.
yes, well, the narrative that they wanted to make is that they were being disruptive in the chamber.
Hmm.
The disruption came because the chairperson wouldn't even acknowledge them.
Hmm.
There has been times even in that chamber where they would break out into fights, just cursing and yelling, but because they were protesting against gun violence, something that just happened in that school.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were trying to shut them down. They didn't want to have the conversation. So I'm really glad to see the young people, um, all from all walks of life, but young and old, sticking together and
Hmm.
really um, pushing to get them back their seats. So,
Yeah.
And it's a really scary thing to stand up for what's right, especially
Hmm.
when your livelihood and reputation is on the line too.
Hmm.
yes,
Not many people are willing to do that. You know what I mean?
right.
And it wasn't even like a riot or anything. It was just
Right.
a peaceful protest against
Hmm.
gun violence, and which is obviously a really big issue in the past
It's a huge
few years.
issue. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so, I don't know. I just think it was really brave of them to not only risk that, but then stand up for themselves and
Yeah.
stand up for what's right.
It was doing the right thing,
Oh, for sure.
standing up for the. But I'm gonna show you how good God is in the midst of troubles. You know, these were two very unknown individuals
Mm-hmm.
that are now at the top of the chamber in Congress right now because of
Foolishness.
ignorance
Yes, yes,
of
yes,
the devil.
yes,
Excuse me.
yes.
And sometime in life, I believe personally that we need people. It's going to take certain people to stand
Mm-hmm.
for things for in order for something to change.
Right.
And if nobody ever stand, then nothing would ever change. So the devil tried to quieten these guys up and try to shame them. You know, that's what the devil try to do, try to put you in your place. And so what it ended up happening is God elevated these two young men in the midst of, he prepared the table before in the
Uh-huh.
presence of his enemy, of
Yes,
the enemy. You know what I'm saying?
yes,
And,
yes,
and so
yes.
God just started lifting these guys up all of a sudden in the midst of all that what they was trying to tear down.
Yes.
And these guys became, and now they
Now
are
they're known all over.
all over the world.
Yes,
They was just known in the little chamber at this one point,
yes, and
but
now
now they're known all the way in Texas. They're known
everywhere.
in
All over. You
Arizona,
don't have to call
in
them out.
California.
Yeah, all over, all over, all over. Well, the good thing about this too, for me, that I love about it, is that they weren't afraid. they kept standing for what's right.
Mhm.
And a lot of times we are afraid because we see the giant in front of us, and people are afraid of being stuck out there by themselves. So I'm proud of them, and thank you, Abigail, for being obedient and
Bringing
putting
this
that up,
particular
bringing this
story out.
And I want to add something too. You know, it reminds me also when you're talking about like bravery and stuff like that and putting yourself out there. It reminds me kind of like the Colin Kaepernick situation too. He's now like the face
Yes,
of like equality and like the Black Lives Matter movement and stuff
Right.
like that. When you know at first he was, I mean, he lost his job, he lost his career in the NFL. You know,
Yes.
like that.
Yeah.
Like it kind of goes to show, which I think can relate into like our show topic today. That like you know there are rough times, there are low lows, but that means like a good thing is coming.
it's
for
coming. Just don't be afraid. Just stay in
Yeah.
it.
Could you put the picture of those two guys back up for me for a second?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Now you see this the gentleman over there with the glasses looking like Malcolm X with the afro. This look like a whole 1972 type of revolution that's taking place again all over again. It's a damn shame that we still having to do things. Yes.
Yes.
It's a damn shame we're still doing the same thing over and over and over. And the same people with the same hatred continue to hate like they doing. This world has changed a lot,
And we're still
and
being
we're still
foolish.
doing some of the
We're still
same.
fighting the same fight.
That's why I tell you the scripture said we wrestling not against flesh and blood. They the white man that try to shut them up, they don't even know these guys.
Well, I think the whole biggest issue with this whole thing is fear. People are afraid
Fear of change.
fear of change, fear of the unknown, anything different from them. And I think that who can argue with kids getting shot up in school?
Yeah.
We got to do something with these guns. I mean, we got to. That to me, that's just,
Yeah.
you know.
All right.
Then,
All right.
moving on.